Suppose I have some real valued function over R, and that function is differentiable at some point belonging to R. So what was the geometric interpretation of this? So when a function of a single real variable, suppose this function I'm talking about, if this function is differentiable, and clearly it is differentiable at this point, and suppose I'm denoting this function by y equals to fx, then this gives me the slope. So if I find out the derivative of the function at this point a, the value of the derivative at a gives me the slope of this tangent at this drawn at this point. So the slope of this tangent line will be given by f dash x. Suppose the function is differentiable here as well, as you can see. Suppose this point is some b, then you draw the tangent at this, something like this, right? So this is the slope of this tangent is given by this. So right, so y equals to f dash x gives you the gives you the slope of the tangent at the point x. So this was the geometric interpretation of what do I say, differentiation. Okay, now what we'll be doing with the function with several real variables. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you take any point on that floor. As you can see, there is a floor, right? So on that floor you take any point x comma y, right? And then what you do, the height of the blue carpet also, or anything, that blue thing will gives you the value of z, right? So this is a function of two independent variables x and y. You take any point x and y here in the floor, that gray one, that's the xy plane, and you are getting a point corresponding to that blue curve, blue surface, right? So this is how the surface is. Now what I'll do, just a minute, you fix some value of y. Suppose I am fixing some value of y. Suppose y equals to 2. So as you can see, I am fixing this particular value of y equals to 2. I am fixing this will be like this, right? So I am fixing the value of y equals to 2. So I am interested in the curve that I have obtained. Which curve I have obtained? As you can see, the curve which is the intersection of this plane and this blue surface. I will get a curve. Can you see the intersection of this green one, this green plane y equals to 2, and this blue surface? Can you see a curve that is just more or less like a circle or a semicircle? That curve intersection I want, the curve. Now on this curve, this curve can be treated as a function of single variable, because I have now put a particular value of y here. That means z equals to some function of x. So this particular curve can be treated as a function of a single variable. Now I can talk about the concept of differentiation here, which I had taught. So now if I find out the differentiation at any point, on this curve, then provided it is differentiable, then that is called as the partial derivative. So what we are doing in partial derivatives, we are talking about differentiation only, but by keeping one variable fixed. So this is known as, so when I am fixing the value of y, my z is a function of x only. So now I can talk about the differentiation here. Now it is known as a partial derivative with respect to x. Let me now define the partial derivatives. Okay. So we will differentiate but partial. That means by fixing one variable. So partial derivatives. So let D be a subset of R2. The notion can be introduced for Rn as well. And suppose f is a function from D to R. Be a function of two independent variables. Okay. Okay. Full stop. So this I have. This notion can be introduced for Rn also, but as said, we will be mostly interested in R2 only. Okay. So then the partial derivative, of f with respect to x is generally denoted by so what is the representation? Del f del x. So this is the representation for partial derivative, or x like this, x at the bottom. This is known as maybe suffix, no? So fx. Okay, so the partial derivative of f with respect to the variable x is generally denoted by this or this, and is defined as this. So it is defined as this: del f del x, or fx is denoted like this. So remember the definition of derivatives, which is known as the differentiation using first principle, or the actual definition. It was what? Limit h tends to 0. What you write here? F of x plus h minus fx by h. But because it is a function of several variables, so what you write? Fx plus h minus fx by h. This is the definition of derivative, usual derivative. But here I am keeping the second variable fixed. So this is the definition of this partial derivative, provided the limit exists. If the limit does not exist, then I will say that the partial derivative does not exist with respect to x. So what is the actual meaning? You fix some particular value of y, and you are differentiating with respect to x. So this is the definition that we have learned in differentiation. So did you understand the definition of partial derivative with respect to x?
Yes, sir.
So the actual concept is this: keeping y constant, we are differentiating with respect to x, but this is the definition in terms of limits. Similarly, we define the partial derivative with respect to y. So fy, or dy or del y del x. This is just del, okay, del y del x, or del y, sorry, del f del y, like this. Limit k tends to 0. Here the first variable is fixed. Change in the second variable. So y plus k minus f of x comma y by k, provided the limit exists. Okay. So this is the definition of partial derivatives with respect to x and with respect to y. In simple words, keeping y fixed, you are differentiating with respect to x, and that is known as a partial derivative. So this is the limit definition, right, which will be requiring in most of the cases. But when we do other questions, then we can differentiate like this. For example, I'll just tell you, suppose I have this function. Example, I'll show you the example using these limits a bit later. Suppose I have this function f of x comma y equals to x square y plus 2y square. If I ask you find del f del x, either you can use the definition of limits, or what you can do in simple words, you keep y constant, treat y as constant, so y goes outside, derivative of x square is 2x plus y is constant, so derivative of this is 0. You are differentiating with respect to x. So what is the partial derivative with respect to x? It is 2xy. Similarly, what is del f del y? You are differentiating with respect to y, treating x constant. So x square is a constant, differentiation of y with respect to y is 1, and differentiation of 2y square is 4y. So it is x square plus 4y. Understood my point? So as you had done in differentiation also, we first do the sum based on this actual derivation using the limit definition, and then we can just use the formulas like differentiation of x to the power n is this and so on. So this was the definition, or this is a shortcut way of doing it. We will be doing this a bit later, okay? So don't forget the definition. Definition will be required after some time while doing some sums where you cannot do this. Let's see. Also understand the geometric meaning. So what is fx? Similarly, hold on. Now what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? This means the partial derivative. You first find out the partial derivative of f at the point x equals to a and y equals to b. Okay. So what is the geometric meaning of this? When you are finding a partial derivative at some point a comma b, what is the geometric meaning of this? Try to understand my point. It means that you are first fixing y equals to b. So for that surface, you are taking that curve which lies at the intersection of this plane y equals to b and the surface. So the curve that you will get, for that curve you are finding the slope of the tangent at the point x equals to a. You are first fixing y equals to b, that will lead to a curve. On that curve you are finding the slope of the tangent at the point x equals to a. That is the geometric interpretation. Okay. So this is the notion of partial derivative. So in general, fx, like here, as you saw here, this is with respect to x for any xy. So suppose if I ask you find the partial derivative at the point 1 comma 2, you find out, you put x equals to 1 and y equals to 2 here. But in general, they are nothing but a function of two independent variables again. So del f del x and del f del y, they are again the function of several independent variables. For different values of x and y, you will get some answer. Okay. So now once we have defined partial derivatives, we now define something called as directional derivative, which is the more generalization of partial derivative. Directional derivative. So what we mean by this, again all these things are required by me. Let D be some subset of R2 and f be a function from D to R, which is a function of two several independent variables. Okay. Now what I will do, I will ask for a direction. Let beta equals to L comma M, where L square plus M square equals to 1. So in simple words, beta is a unit vector in R2. That is, beta is a unit vector in R2. So I am asking for some direction, as the name suggests, directional derivative. So I am asking for some direction. So suppose you have given me the direction Li cap plus Mj cap, provided we take the unit vector. Okay. Okay, so I have a function and I have some direction. I have a function and I have some direction. Then the directional derivative of f, in which direction? In the direction beta. In the direction beta at the point a comma b belonging to the domain is given by. So I am finding the directional derivative of the function. In which direction? In the direction beta, and at which point? At the point a comma b. So it is given like this. So try to understand my point. Given by this and denoted like this: d beta f a b. So what will this represent? This represents the directional derivative of f in the direction beta at the point a comma b, and this is defined like this: limit t tends to 0 f of a plus tl. So instead of just taking a plus t, we are taking a plus tl comma b plus mt or tm, this is what is the space, minus fab divided by t. I should write this again. Hold on, I will just write it here, which is equal to limit t tends to 0 f of a plus tl b plus tm minus f of a comma b by, okay, hold on, I'll be back, hold on. Okay, so now you see that the concept of this directional derivative is more general as compared to partial derivatives, because when you choose this direction beta equals to 1 0, if I find out the directional derivative in this direction 1 0 at some point x comma y, you suppose, what is this? Just put here L equals to 1 and M equals to 0. What am I getting? Limit t tends to 0 f of a plus t, L is 1, so a plus t, comma b, sorry, not a, I'm taking an x, so x plus t, b is y, and m is 0, so this will make it 0, no need to write, x comma y by t. What is this? What is this? Who can tell me? What is this? This is nothing but, by definition, the partial derivative with respect to x at the point x comma y. There I have taken h, that doesn't matter. Okay, so you see, directional derivative is a more general concept as compared to partial derivative, because This partial derivative with respect to x is a particular case of the directional derivative. When I choose this direction, in the direction of x-axis, I am getting fx of the partial derivative with respect to x, right? And if I take beta equals to 0, 1 in the direction of y, in the j direction, I will get the partial derivative with respect to y. So understood my point? So directional derivative is a more general case of partial derivatives, more general case. See, this is the question. You have to find the directional derivative at this point and in this direction of this function, as simple as that. Now the first thing that you will check whether this is a unit vector or no, because I need a unit vector. So you check, how do you check that is a unit vector? So here L is 2 by root 5 and M is minus 1 by root 5. So the components are 2 by root 5 and minus 1 by root 5. You square and add them and you see that that is coming as 1. That means that is a unit vector. Right? The modulus is coming as 1. Suppose they had not given this. Suppose they had said in the direction this. If you start by just this, you will not get the answer. We always take the unit direction. That means suppose they had just given beta as this. What is the modulus of this vector? 2 square plus minus 1 square, which is equals to 5. So you will divide by the modulus. Modulus is root 5. So that is the components are 2 by root 5 and minus 1 by root 5. Understood my point? So the first step will be to check whether the direction is a unit direction or no. So it is a unit direction given to us. So let's apply the definition. So by definition, if I see, what was the definition of d in the direction beta of the function at the point 1, 1? It is limit, it will not fit here, okay, limit t tends to 0, f of 1 plus 2 by root 5 t, y 1, a is 1, b is also 1, 1 minus 1 by root 5 t minus f of 1 by t. This is the definition. Here L is 2 by root 5, M is minus 1 by root 5. So this is now a question of single variable function because only one variable is there, t. So let's apply here. This is x, this is y. So x square plus y square. So this is this x, f of x comma y is x square plus y square. So x square plus y square minus f of 1, 1. What is f of 1, 1? You put here 1, you put here 1. So 1 plus 1, 2 by t. Right? Now just open the squares and all and solve it. So this is limit t tends to 0, a square plus b square plus 2ab. So 4 by root 5 t, and this is a square plus b square plus 2, sorry, minus 2ab. So 2 by root 5 t, and I have minus 2 here by t. 1 plus 1, 2, 2 minus 2, 0, got cancelled. T is common from the numerator and cancel that with the denominator. Right, so t is common. So I will remain here with 4 by 5t plus 4 by root 5 plus t by root 5 minus 2 by root 5. So 1 t is gone, 1 t is gone, 1 t is gone, and t is gone, right? And as you can see here, there was a t, I have taken t common, and this t got cancelled. Now this is a question and the limit is defined. You can put t equals to 0. So this becomes 0, this becomes 0. I am remaining with 4 by root 5 minus 2 by root 5, which is nothing but 2 by root 5. On rationalizing, this will become 2 root 5 by 5. So this is the value of the directional derivative of the function x square plus y square at the point 1 comma 1 in the direction 2 comma minus 1. The unit vector along 2 comma minus 1. Yes, this is t by 5. Okay. Yeah. So this is the question. Find partial derivative of x at the point 0 0 and the partial derivative of f with respect to y at the point 0 0. I have to find the partial derivative of f with respect to x at the point 0 0 and partial derivative of f with respect to y at the point 0 0. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So solution, let me apply the definition of partial derivative, right? So fx 0 comma 0, if you see the definition, it is limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h, x here is 0, so 0 plus h, comma y here is 0, minus f 0 0 by h. Just apply the definition, increment in x but no increment in y and by h. So x here is 0, y here is 0, and increment in x and increment in y is nothing. This is the definition of partial derivatives given few minutes back. I had given for x comma y, and this is for particular point 0 comma 0. What is this? Limit h tends to 0, f of h comma 0 minus f of 0 comma 0 by h. Okay. Now you see here f of h comma 0. H comma 0, h is never 0 because we have h tending to 0. So h is never 0. So this condition is satisfied that they are not both 0. They are not both 0. Right? So that means at least one of them is not 0. They are not 0. They are not same as 0 comma 0. So this condition is satisfied. What I will do, I'll put here x equals to h and y equals to 0. X equals to h and y equals to 0. I'll put, right? What will I get? I'll simply get 0. Because when I am putting x equals to h but y equals to 0, the numerator is becoming 0. So eventually this is becoming 0. And 0 0 is already 0 by h. This is 0 by h and the limit is simply 0. Because it is limit h tends to 0. The numerator is 0, so numerator by any 0 by any non-zero number is 0, and I am getting the limit to be 0. Understood?
Yes, sir.
You find out this, right? You find out this very quickly. Limit k tends to 0. So no increment in x, but increment in y. Just apply the definition and see what this is coming. What this is coming, you tell me. So if you evaluate this using the same concept, you will get here 0. So see, in general, the partial derivative with respect to x and partial derivative with respect to y at some point may not be equal, but in our case, they are both coming 0. That may be just a coincidence and nothing else. But in general, they are not same. Anyways, okay, in general, they are not same. What I am seeing here, both the partial derivatives exist at 0 0. That means I can find out the value of this limit. You know, a limit may not exist, as you have seen in differentiation of single variable. Then we say that the function is not differentiable at that point. So what I am seeing, both the partial derivative exist at the point 0 0 and their value are 0. But both exist at this point 0 0. Good enough. So the partial derivatives of this function exist at 0 0. Now you tell me, is this function continuous at 0 0? We have done this question. Just think and tell me, Is this function continuous at 0, 0? Why is this function not continuous at 0, 0? It is very easy to see. Limit x tends to 0, y tends to 0 of this function does not exist. Why? Because if you put this score y equals to mx, you will see you will get m by 1 plus m square, and which is different for different values of m. That means this function is not continuous at 0, 0. We have done this. I will show you, don't worry. We have done this question few days back. Prove that f is not continuous at 0, 0. Here is the proof. Because this limit is different for different values of m. Because this limit does not exist, so the function is not continuous at 0, 0. So, both the partial derivative exists at 0, 0, but the function fxy is not continuous at 0, 0. So why is this function important? This is giving us a counter example for some unique thing. What is that? In single variable calculus, what we had done, differentiability implies continuity. That means when a function is differentiable at some point, then it is definitely continuous at that point, right? Now, in several variable calculus, the existence of partial derivatives at a particular point may not guarantee the continuity of a function at that point. So what we are seeing here, even when both the partial derivatives exist as 0, 0, the function may not be continuous at 0, 0. In single variable function calculus, what we used to do, if the function is differentiable, we can clearly say the function is continuous. But here, I cannot say. As you can see in this case, both the partial derivative exist and even they are equal. Anyways, that has nothing to do with equal or not equal. But still the function is not continuous at the point 0, 0. So keep that as a note. Existence of partial derivatives may not guarantee the continuity of a function at that point. Okay, so even if the partial derivative exists, even if they are equal, then also the function may not be continuous at that point. We have a counter example. Understood? So existence of partial derivatives at a point may not guarantee the existence of may not guarantee the continuity of the function at that point. Okay, so please keep that as a note, a very important note. So now we will see if we impose some more extra condition on partial derivatives. That means, I'll tell you, that is known as a sufficient condition of continuity. That means existence may not guarantee the continuity, but if I suppose impose some more condition, then that will imply continuity. That we will do in the next class. Thank you. That's all for today.